Nobody 2 is gearing up to be one of the biggest action movies of 2025, and Bob Odenkirk's franchise is looking more and more like the perfect John Wick replacement with every update. Despite the original film's modest budget, John Wick has grown into a blockbuster juggernaut and the standard bearer for modern action movies, grossing over $1 billion across its four installments. As a result, it has spawned many similar projects, but none have come as close to matching the franchise's tone and personality as Nobody, making it all the more ironic that the IPs are set to compete. John Wick's ballerina spin-off and Nobody 2 both have 2025 release dates, putting the two films head-to-head. While John Wick has a bigger budget and a more identifiable name, seeing how Odenkirk's sequel compares to Ballerina will be a great measuring stick for its potential longevity. The two franchises also share the same creator and have similar gun-fu combat styles, leading to constant comparisons. However, with Keanu Reeves set to leave his iconic role, the doubt around John Wick 5 makes Nobody 2's arrival even better, and its early signs indicate that it could be a worthy alternative. Being compared to John Wick should be nothing but flattering, and Nobody seems to have embraced this, as the sequel looks like it would be right at home in the iconic action universe. Hutch's solo mission against a criminal organization closely resembles the Baba Yaga, and his expert fighting skills mixed with his sense of justice make him every bit as likable. Now, a new image of Bob Odenkirk in Nobody 2 has indicated that the project will continue following in John Wick's footsteps, as Hutch's blood-covered face and submachine gun give the movie an even more colourful tone. Director Timo Tjahjanto further emphasized this shift by claiming the sequel will move away from the gloomy warehouse feel and have a more summery vibe. Although the original environments helped create a more grounded story which made the franchise stand out, Nobody 2 has to be bigger, and replicating John Wick's gradual transformation into a more vibrant world makes sense. Rather than sticking to Hutch's local town, taking the story to different cities and countries while facing off against more powerful enemies feels like a natural progression for Nobody, which will give it a similar trajectory to Keanu Reeves' movies. Alongside Nobody 2's aesthetic resembling John Wick, the story and action could also become more like the blockbuster franchise. Hutch's journey in the first film wasn't too dissimilar to John's in the original John Wick, other than Hutch having a family to protect. However, with John Wick 2 branching out beyond local Russian gangsters, Nobody 2 may follow suit, as Sharon Stone's villain casting teases a high-table equivalent for Bob Odenkirk's series. Seeing the protagonist have to raise his game and clash with even more skilled fighters would make the film more exciting, giving it some much-needed higher stakes. Therefore, with Hutch's enemies evolving, so would the action. Shootouts and close-quarter fights could be more intimate than before, mimicking the iconic bus scene from the first movie, but on a much larger scale. It could also have combat take place in more crowded public spaces or labyrinth-type areas designed to put Hutch at a devastating disadvantage as he faces off against deadly assassins and killers. Given the action sequences were one of the first movie's highlights, having Tjahjanto on board will only make this a bigger focus, and his style already resembles John Wick's, making him the perfect fit. Assuming Nobody 2 maintains a similar style of choreography as the original, Tjahjanto will only help elevate the combat, making the project one of 2025's biggest action movies. Despite the first Nobody being great because of some of its similarities to John Wick, the sequel has to avoid becoming a clone of the hit franchise. Nobody 2 should continue borrowing story and action ideas from its billion-dollar competitor, but it still has to forge its own path by making Hutch's family an important aspect of the plot while avoiding ripping off John Wick. It's fine for Odenkirk's movie to take the protagonist across the world and face off against some powerful shadow organization. However, firefights in hotels and bulletproof suits may be a little on the nose. Nobody already has a strong identity, but it has to make sure it doesn't lose that while trying to chase John Wick's success. The return of Christopher Lloyd is a positive sign given the father-son relationship was an enjoyable element of the original, but keeping Hutch's more tired, weary attitude is crucial as well. Seeing more lively locations will be fun, but Nobody 2 should still attempt to keep the laid-back tone alongside its dingy atmosphere, even in more exotic environments, if it wants to avoid becoming just another John Wick.